So today's video is about finding the area of a parallelogram. So what is a parallelogram? Well, a parallelogram is a four-sided figure with two sides that are parallel to each other. So to find the area of a parallelogram, you have to first locate the base and the height. And just like when you're looking for the right angle with a triangle, you're going to look for the right angle for a parallelogram as well to locate the base and the height. So if I look at this trapezoid here, if I look for the right angle square, it's going to lead me to the height and the base because it's going to touch the base and the height. So if we notice with this trapezoid, the dotted line is my height and then the bottom here is going to be my base. Now even if the dotted line is outside of the trapezoid, you're still going to look for the right angle and it's still going to be touching the height and the base. So if you notice, the right angle square is touching this dotted line, is touching the height, and then it's touching this line down here, which means that this is the base. So to find the area of a parallelogram, you must use the formula that area equals the base times the height. So to find the area of this parallelogram, we want to first locate the base and the height. So we're going to look for the 90-degree angle square, and that's going to tell us which line is our base and which line is our height. And so we see that the 90-degree angle is touching the dotted line, and it's also touching this down here, the 9 inches. So that means to find the area, we have to use the 7 inches and the 9 inches. Notice that the line here, the 8 inches, it does not touch the 90-degree square at all. So that means we're not going to use the 8 inches to find the area. So we're going to start by writing our formula. And our formula is base times height. Then to find the area, we're going to plug our base and our height into the formula. So the area is going to be 9 times 7. Which means that for this parallelogram, the area is 63 inches squared. And remember, with area, the unit will be to the second power. So to find the area of this parallelogram, even though it's turned a different direction, we still have to locate the base and the height. That means we got to look for the 90-degree angle square because it's going to be touching the base and the height. Again, we see that the dotted line here is touching the 90-degree angle, so that means that's a part of our base and height. And then it's touching also this line here that's 22 kilometers. So that means we're going to use the 16 kilometers and the 22 kilometers to find the area of the parallelogram. So we're going to start with our formula. Again, instead of writing out the word area and base and height, you can use A for area, B for base, and H for height. So that means we can write our formula as A equals B times H. So we're going to plug in the base and the height into our formula. So that means to find the area, we have to multiply 16 times 22, which gives us an area of 352 kilometers squared. Now sometimes you're not going to be given a picture that's going to tell you in word form that the base is something and the height is something. So in this example, they want us to find the area of a parallelogram with a base of 7.5 feet and a height of 13 feet. So once again, we're going to start with the formula A equals base times height, or B times H. And then we're going to plug in our base and our height. So our base is 7.5 and our height is 13. So that means that the area is 97.5 feet squared. Now in this question, they're asking us to find the height of a parallelogram with a base of 4 yards and an area of 300 square yards. So this one's a little bit different because in the other questions they asked us to find the area. But in this question they're asking us to find the height and they gave us the area. So instead of them giving us the base and the height and asking for the area, they gave us the base and the area and we have to find the height. Now we're still going to start by writing our formula, and our formula is still area equals B times 8, or base times height. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in the numbers that we know. Well, this time, instead of us plugging in the base and the height, we're going to plug in the base, which is 4, and then we're going to plug in the area, which is 300, and we're going to leave the H as an H because we don't know what the height is yet. Now, to find the height, you're going to have to solve this as an equation. So that means we're going to have to figure out what H is, our missing number. Well, to find the missing number, because this is a multiplication problem, that means we have to use division. So we're going to divide 300 by 4, and then whatever we do on one side, we're going to have to do on the other side so that our equation will still be balanced. So then 300 divided by 4 is 75, and then 4H divided by 4 gives me 1H, and we can just write that as H. So what that means is that the height is 75 yards. So remember, the formula to find the area of a parallelogram is simply multiplying the base times the height.